So when you talk about a use clause, how do they draft it? It could be do it a prescriptive way. You could say these are the things we don't want in our space.
When we're representing landlords, we try to be as specific as possible for that sort of tenant. If it's retail, for example, we would say a clothing store or a jewelry store, something like that. Obviously, that is very limiting for what the use can be, and from a tenant side, you certainly have to see the other side. The concern is assignment. So sometimes in the assignment clause, you'll make the synergy that this is what the space could be assigned to be. You're using it for this. This is who we're renting our space to. But if you want to assign it, these are the other types of uses that we'll allow when you assign, and these are the types of uses that we will not allow. So, for example, a restaurant could attract vermin or insects. A lot of landlords, and particularly on the retail side, are hesitant to have a restaurant.
I always look at a use clause in a retail as if you have a shopping center and you want a high-end shopping center, you're going to restrict the types of stores that can be in that shopping center. And that's a way for the landlord to keep the brand of the shopping center the same. In office, it's much different, I think, at the end of the day. Give me a couple examples of real estate deals you've worked in the past where the use clause has affected the outcome of the situation.
And a lot of it is in terms of assignments and what, when a tenant is exiting, what they can assign to. So again, the use clause dovetails very nicely with an assignment clause on that. What's important in terms of a lease is that you understand what uses can't be. I actually, from one lease, we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but gave some examples of prohibited uses that I've seen in a lease, like a veterinary hospital, for example, or veterinary care. Within New York, you may be seeing more of those pop up, like a city MD for animals. If you're signing a retail lease for a store, you can't assign to a tenant like that. Or a fitness use, for example, when certainly group fitness was in vogue, you're getting a lot of people, you're getting a lot of demand. That's a type of tenant that you wouldn't necessarily be able to assign to. So those are just a couple of examples, hopefully relevant ones that affect assignments.
Explain the difference between a prohibitive clause and a prescriptive clause.
Prohibitive means it certainly specifies what can't be done within the space. Prescriptive is saying what can be done. So prohibitive, again, you can't have a fitness use, for example, veterinary hospital. Prescriptive is this is a clothing store, this is a jewelry store. So when you say prescriptive versus prohibitive, you wouldn't necessarily just find it within the use clause. You could have, for example, a prescriptive clause for a use, which is okay, and a lot of prohibitive things on an assignment. A retail space, and as a tenant, again, you want a more permissive use clause. That's something that you might fight for, and you certainly brought up a lot of scenarios where you might not be able to get that. So if your use clause is very limited, what's important to look for is an assignment provision that is more permissive. But certainly the first option and first choice is to get a more permissive use clause to try to get that. But in terms of facilitating a transaction, you could get a more limiting use clause and allow, in examples that you said, and allow for more permissive use on assignments or less prohibitive.